boiling the eggs, peeling them, putting the mayonnaise in, and I helped her scoop it out. That's really sweet.
I'm taking all of them, Sora. If I'm at your mom's place, there's enough for everybody, but I'm taking all of them. And I don't care who says what. I'm taking all of them.
Well, not after you listen to what I say, you know. You just might change your mind. So, okay, so you love deviled eggs, and that's tough for you to eat.
And I can't stop eating.
Nope. Okay. I love that you're so honest about it. Now, I want your listeners to think of the same thing. Is it a type of candy bar? Is it a type of cake? Is it a potato chip? It doesn't matter what it is. All right, so here's what I'm going to teach you to do. All the work is done before you bring the deviled eggs to your mouth. So let's start basic. So first, you're going to make some visual decisions, all right? So you're going to, let's say there's a plate, you go to your mom's house and there's a plate of deviled eggs on the table. Okay, before you take those deviled eggs into your plate, I want you to ask yourself two questions. I want you to ask yourself, how much is enough and how much is too much? And I want you to think about that now. I want you to think about it. First, we're going to do the plates, and then we're going to do the real eating. So how many deviled eggs is enough for you to take off the plate?
How much is I say it again?
All right, so your mom put a dish of deviled eggs on the plate.
Okay.
And there's many on the plate. So now you're in program, you know? So you have to ask yourself, how much is enough and how much is too much? Okay. So give me a number. This is the teaching model.
How much is enough?
Yeah, how many halves of eggs that are deviled are enough in that plate?
I mean enough, now that I'm thinking about it, I would say about 5 or 6.
All right, well, pick one number, please.
All right, let's say 6.
All right, so 6. Now, I want you to pretend to put those 6 deviled eggs in the plate in front of you, and I want you to do that now. So take a pretend moment.
Okay.
And put those 6 deviled eggs on your plate. And I want all your listeners to do the same. If you're holding a candy bar, I want you to think about how much is enough and how much is too much, and hold that thought, and then I'm going to tell you what to do. All right, so you have 6 half-deviled eggs on your plate. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, now comes the next part. Normally, it wouldn't work this way, but because you're taking the deviled eggs off the plate, we're not doing the whole technique now. I asked you to ask yourself 2 questions when you look at the deviled eggs on the plate. I asked you to ask yourself how much is enough and how much is too much. You put 6 half deviled eggs on your plate. Now, before you touch those deviled eggs, I want you to look down at your deviled eggs, and I want you to ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions again. I want you to ask yourself how much is enough and how much is too much. Look at your deviled eggs, and everybody out in the listening audience, I want you to think about the food that's in your hand. Pretend. I want you to ask yourself how much is enough and how much is too much. Now we're getting down to what you're going to actually eat. So now if you're going to say to me, but Sora, the six are enough, I'm going to say, well, you have to take off a little teeny weeny piece off of one of the deviled eggs, because here's what happens. You have to ask yourself how much is enough and how much is too much. And then what you have to do is physically set aside the amount that's too much, called your marker. So then you're going to have 2 amounts in front of you. You're going to have the amount that you decided was enough, plus you're going to have the marker, which is too much.
Okay.
I want you to do that now. I want you to look at those 6 half deviled eggs and say, okay, I'm in the program. How much is enough? How much is too much? You have to come up with an amount that's too much, even if it's just a drop of the deviled eggs, and you have to physically push it away from the other part.
See, now you got me thinking. Because as you're asking me these 2 questions, I'm starting to think that I'm greedy.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, because enough is really, like, when I really think about it, it's just I have a fascination with deviled eggs. So whether it be 6 or 9 or 10 or 12 that I'm going to take, When I say I'm going to take 6, to be completely honest, like 3 or 4 is more than enough.
Oh, now, and see, look at
To
this.
be honest,
Wait. But look at your thinking process. I mean, I find this fascinating because I know how the process works. You see, you started with 6, but now when the 6 were in front of you, and I said you have to go back in and now ask yourself how much is enough and how much is too much, and move aside the marker, the amount that's too much. All of a sudden, Billionaire Brown, all of a sudden that 6 looked like so much to you that you were saying to me, well, so if 4 is enough, I want you to put away 2. Let's just do this. If 4 is enough, if you think right now, because I'll show you what to do if you want more. If 4 is enough, push away 2.
4 is push away 2. So I only have 2?
No. You have 6. You have 6 in front of you. Oh my God. You have 6 in front of you. And you say, well, maybe now 4 is enough, Sora. Okay, hold that thought. Now I want you to actually physically move away 2 from the 4.
Okay.
Do that now. I want you to physically move away 2 deviled eggs from the 4. Do that now. It's important.
Okay.
All right. Boom. All right, so now you have 2 amounts in front of you, Billionaire Bill. You have the amount that you decided was enough, which is the 4, and you have the amount that you decided was too much, which is the 2. Am I right?
Yep.
Now you can eat. You can only eat the amount that you decided was enough, the 4. So, but you can't eat the 2 because that 2 is there to tell you that you ate and stopped yourself because you had enough.
Now, here's my problem.
Go for it.
What do I do with the 2? I can't put him back because I don't want to waste food. I already have him on my plate.
Okay,
I was raised, you better eat the food that's on your plate.
Okay, well, you were raised, but you hadn't met Sora yet, okay?
Okay. So, I think that's a problem we all have, though. If it's on our plate, we want to finish it.
Well, here's what I'm going to say to you. If you want to finish the food, then your weight's not going to come off. But if you want your weight loss more, then what you do is watch. So you ate the 4, now you have 2 left. Now you're in program. You ate and stopped yourself because you had enough.
Right.
Now you say, but Sora, what about the 2? What do I do with the 2? Okay. Well, let's talk about this. Can you put it back on the plate?
I could.
Okay. Guess what? You're going to put those 2 back on the plate, and you were in program. Now, if you say to me, you know what, Sora, maybe I wanted 5. Maybe I just want 1 more. Maybe I wanted 5. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of the 2 deviled eggs from your marker, push it over. I want you to do that now. You're going to push that over, and you're going to have 2 amounts in front of you. The amount that's enough, which is 1 more, and then the marker. And you can eat the 1 more that you said was enough, but not your marker. And that's because the marker lets you know, hey, you had enough. You ate and stopped yourself, and I'm here to remind you of that. So now, Billionaire Brown, you manage the food. It doesn't manage you. Yeah. And how did you manage it? By knowing how much is enough. And how did you physicalize that? By setting aside a marker to show you that you can have enough food. Now, you ask, how do you lose weight? Well, when you know that you can always have enough of what you want, are you going to want more, or are you going to be satisfied?
Satisfied.
Thank you. So what you're going to do is, over time, as you keep eating enough of the foods that you want, not some people in a corporate boardroom told you to have, you're going to become, wow, I can have enough. And suddenly, you manage the food, and you're not going to want as much.
So you're saying we're eating too much.
Yes, but until you actually use the technique to identify how much is enough and physically move away the marker, you're not in control.
I like that. That's new. That's very new.
Well, I'm new. I mean, I'm the new girl on the block, but I ain't stopping.
That's very good. I like that. Okay. So that is the green technique.
Yes, that's the green technique. The green, and then the way you use it for liquids, I just want to share with your listeners how to use it with a liquid. So let's say someone says, well, Sora, because I've heard this. Well, Sora, I can use your technique with what I have to chew, but what I like to drink, and that's really what puts on the weight. And so here's what you do. Pick a liquid that's high in calories that you like to drink. Is there anything?
I don't know too much about calories, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. So how about do you like Gatorade?
Not really. Not really. No.
Okay. Do you like all right, so let me pick something here. Let's pick see, I don't drink.
I've had a Pepsi. I don't drink Pepsi as much as I used to, but is Pepsi when I drink a Pepsi, is Pepsi
Okay,
high
now
in calories?
that's a perfect example. So you drink a regular Pepsi, okay?
Love it. If it got to be a can, not a bottle.
All right. Well, a regular Pepsi, I don't know how many calories. It's like 180 to 280. But that's a lot of money to spend on a liquid. To me, food is money. I look upon food as money. So it's where you want to spend it. So let's say you're looking to lose weight and in the program. So you get your Pepsi, but you're in program. So before you can drink the Pepsi, you have to ask yourself two questions. How much is enough and how much is too much? Now, it's obvious that you're a well-managed kind of guy, so you're not going to spill out the amount that's too much before you drink the amount that's enough. So then what you're going to do is drink the amount that's enough, but you're going to remember to leave over the amount that's too much, called your marker. When you see your marker, you stop drinking. You knew that you drank and stopped yourself because you had enough, and the marker's there to say, hey, you drank and stopped yourself and had enough. Once you know that you can eat enough and drink enough, then you're not going to be like they were in the Roman days at these orgies and when they were stuffing themselves because nothing was enough. I'm here to say that you don't have to listen to four people in a corporate boardroom who only preach self-deprivation and lack of self-worth. Food is not a person, it's an object, and you can manage it in this new way by deciding that you want to ask yourself two questions before you eat, push away the amount that's too much, and then start knowing that you can feed yourself enough.
Enough. That's a big. The more you keep saying enough is enough. Like it's more than like enough is. That's a lot.
See, that's very good because you know how that there are articles sometimes when they say when too much of enough is enough.
Right.
Okay. Well, the problem with people on a diet and the problem with people who are challenged with their weight is that nothing is enough. And the reason nothing is enough, I will tell you why. It's in chapter 1 of my book. The reason people struggle with food is because they simply think more about food a day than a person without a weight problem. So what does that mean in simple English? Let's say you had a chip in your brain, and at the end of the day, you took out the chip and you put it in your computer and you printed out what your brain looked like. Well, I'm here to say this is what your brain looked like. This is Sora's interpretation. There are 35 squares in your brain, and they can either be red or green. The green squares are non-food thoughts, and the red squares are food thoughts. A person without a weight problem sees 21 green thoughts a day and 14 red thoughts for a total of 35. This person does not have a weight problem. Let's take the mind of a person with a weight problem. They put their chip in at the end of the day and they print it out. This person's going to see 21 red thoughts and 14 green thoughts. This person simply consciously thinks more about food a day than a person without. And what my program lets you do is consciously choose to get to 21 green, 14 red.
All right, sweet. So listen, guys, if you don't have a reason enough, I know some of you are maybe on the treadmill or driving somewhere. Don't go to it right now, but definitely bookmark nodieting.net. I'm going to put it in the show notes, nodieting.net. Now, I have to ask you this question because you were just talking about liquids. Alcohol. I have several of my friends, coworkers, business partners who have this thing about, they don't really drink beer. They rather drink alcohol because of the calories. They don't want to, it messes with their weight. What about alcohol, wine, beer? Do you have anything that you can share with us on those items?
Absolutely. It's in the question and answer section of my book. In the back of my book, I talk about that. You can drink anything you want. You see, I'm all about freedom. So you can drink